Hey everybody, added something to my Ovrlnd camper that I thought everybody should know about. This thing is pretty cool. For those that know, this is, you know what you're looking at. This is a Starlink Mini. It's from Starlink, the SpaceX company, and it provides internet, no matter where you're at, from satellites. I love this thing. It changes the way we camp. I needed something. My wife still works from home, but now she can work remote. She can work from the camper or the lake or wherever we're at. So I installed this a few days ago, and we've been taking it camping, and the thing works great. Even in places that had, some sort of tree cover, still works really well. Haven't had much problems with it. It does text and voice and emails, stream movies, you name it, it does it. So it's a pretty cool device to take out while you're camping. I was gonna show you what I did to install it. I put it on the roof rail. I had a roof rail installed by Ovrlnd campers, and I have some T-bolts, some M8 T-bolts that I bolted in to, that's the regular mounting bracket that you can buy for like 20 some dollars through Starlink. It has a little handle on it. This little handle here, it's hard to show you, but there's a little handle here that you push down, and there's some tabs in the Starlink itself, and you slide this thing backwards, and that's how it mounts. So you push it forward onto the mount, and it snaps into place with the teeth on that handle. What I've done is added a few things, because I just wanted, you're never gonna, it was too easy to take on and off that I was concerned that somebody could steal it. So just trying, not so much prevention, but, deterrence is what I was shooting for. So what I did is I put this 1/4-inch aluminum plate or bar stock here, and I put a nut through it to a T-bolt. I don't have it tightened down, so this is loose so it can slide in the track, but it goes right underneath the handle, so you can't push the handle down, and that's what you need to do to release the unit, is push this handle down. So that prevents the handle from being put down when this bar is slid all the way back against the mount. And then in the front, my concern was, well, this thing's sort of, plastic and sort of flexible. So my concern was they would lift up on this unit, detaching it from the teeth in the mount, and be able to take it that way. So what I did is I put another 1/4-inch, bent it around, and went over the lip here. So they can't lift the unit up, and they can't push the handle down to disengage it. So on that, this is where it's actually fastened to the rail securely. And you can see I have some funky stuff going on here. What's in there, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's underneath this nut, which is a lock nut, there's a security nut that has a special key that you have to use to undo that nut. I bought that on Amazon, came with the key. Actually, I got it on eBay, but they have them on Amazon as well. And that locks all these bar stocks down to the bar. And then I just have a lock nut on top of that to hold this from coming loose, to hold the security bolt from coming loose, because there's no way for that not to come loose. And then I was a little concerned because it has a rounded head on the security nut, so it'd be pretty hard to get it with a crescent wrench or something like that. But it still seemed like it had enough surface area that you could grab it. So what I did is I just got this. It's just like from a hose fitting for I think it's like a washer or something like that. And I put this on to cover that so you can't grab that nut, the security nut, with any kind of wrench or anything. And I made it loose on there. You can't lift it off, but you can spin it, so it'd be hard to saw or anything else to take off. Again, somebody with a pry bar would probably take them 3 seconds to take care of this thing, but I'm trying to avoid, slow down somebody that just happens to be walking at the trailhead and goes, hey, look, he's got that, I want it, and just pops it off and takes it. Because there's nothing really except a power cord holding this in place from somebody to steal it. So with the power cord, how I power this thing, I have a gland here that goes through the roof. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's a marine style gland that you buy on Amazon. And the cable comes up through it and goes into the power port in the unit. Both the gland and the power port are waterproof, so they can be permanently mounted up here on the roof. You know, I don't call it a permanent mount because I can detach this, slide this whole thing back, and that allows me to take the unit off so we can have it mobile if we want to take it down by the lake or something like that. But that's how it's wired, and it's wired to 12 volt. The Mini allows you to do that. The other style one, the bigger unit, needs 120. One of the reasons I got this, and you can see this unit's not very big. You know, the width of it is almost the span of my hand. So it's a nice small unit, put it in a backpack, that kind of thing. And you can power it with 12 volts, which is what I have in the camper. Now with that 12 volts, I'm gonna get down, go into the camper and show you where I've tied it in. So in here you can see I just added a cigarette lighter port. It has to be a special voltage and everything, cigarette lighter port. This one doesn't up the voltage. It just provides the 12.8 or 12 over 12, whatever you got coming from the battery. This unit here, the gray unit that's coming out, that is from Starlink. That is their cigarette lighter adapter. Now that's a special adapter. You can't just use any cigarette lighter adapter because this one actually ups the voltage a little bit. You know, normally coming out of your battery in your car or in the trailer, it's 12 volt plus, but you have losses going through the cable. So that unit up on top needs to see at least 12 volts or it doesn't work at all. It just shuts down anywhere close to 12 volts. So you really need something higher than 12 volts at the socket for it to work. And what that does, that gray thing there, it steps up the voltage. So you don't have any worries when your battery gets low or anything that your unit's going to stop working on you, because this thing ups the voltage a little bit to the unit. So that's something important. Now they do have, other brands and stuff. You don't need a Starlink one. They have stuff on the internet. You just got to be careful that you get a right one that is compatible with a Starlink unit. So that's the only trick that I saw with this. As far as wiring, I did wire this independent of my battery cutoff, because when we're driving sometimes I want to, have internet while we're driving on the road. She can use her laptop up front while we're driving on the road. I didn't mention that that mini unit actually has the router and everything built into the unit. So, you can be within 150 feet or so of that unit and still get all your bars of internet. So, pretty cool with that. But we wanted to have it on, even though I can shut everything down in the camper, I still wanted to have this live. So I attached that cigarette lighter to the battery terminals directly with a 20 amp fuse. I believe it was a 20 amp fuse, in between that and the battery. And then I hooked it to the switches out here. One of the switches out here controls the unit independently of the rest of the electrical system in the truck. So that's how I did it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.